Hello Britball Nation, I'm Nick Wilson-Town, Editor-in-Chief here at doublecoverage.com, and welcome to The Scoop, DC's weekly news show covering all the biggest, most important bits of the past week across the British American football community. It's been a busy week across the Britball Nation with games aplenty, but in other news we've also got a look at the Uniball game, where we've seen a surprising number of coaches disappear during the off-season, including some big name coaches who we honestly didn't expect to be disappearing from the game anytime soon. BAFCA chair Paul Sherritt has stepped away from the Loughborough Students, and similarly both Jim Messenger of the Hertfordshire Hurricanes and Richard Batty of the Sheffield Hallam Warriors have stepped away, along with a plethora of other coaches, meaning there's going to be a lot of upheaval across the university ball and coming into the new season. We're going to bring you a full update of which Uniball coaches have gone where, coming soon. This week saw a new piece from the UK Dukes where they managed to mix up one-handed catches and driving, two things you typically don't see together, but it's well worth checking out. As we mentioned last week, we're awaiting news from Bristol Pride and Aztecs alum Alex Jenkins to see where he's going to end up this summer in the NFL. Hopefully we'll be able to bring you more news on that soon with the big reveal of where he's going to be playing. We've also got a load of interviews with Alex that we'll be releasing bit by bit over the coming weeks, so make sure you keep an eye out for those. Alongside all the under-19, under-17 adult balling going on this weekend, we also had a little sprinkle of Uniball with the Nottingham Varsity going on this year between the NTU Renegades, who went winless in the Premiership North, and the University of Nottingham, who went undefeated during their regular season in Division 1. It was a hard-fought game in front of what looked like a great enthusiastic crowd, live streamed by our friends over at Onside Productions, who did, I think, an awesome job both producing the game, but also some of the commentary was completely on point for this fixture.
We were made aware that late in the game, Coach Messon was going to try and bring in some of the graduate players, as Isignon
hurdle!
keeps
He's made a hurdle! Nice stiff arm onto a hurdle.
Picks up.
He is an absolute beast.
Picks up 10 yards.
You should go check out the stream if you haven't already. We're going to share a few of the clips in this week's highlights, as it was the real MVPs of the game with the NTU defence, who returned 2 pick sixes, which actually gave them the edge in the fixture, giving the NTU Renegades their first win of the 16-17 season, and bodes really well for their return to Division 1 next year. Before we get into the results from the national leagues, just want to mention that this video is brought to you by EP Sports. EP Sports are among the biggest supporters of the British game, not only helping us out here at DC, but also across the nation itself. Where EP really stand out is that they're just not selling you equipment. We like to talk of them as ballers for ballers. These guys are experienced Britballers who've played the game at the very highest levels and at an international scene. So when they're telling you that something works for you, they know what they're talking about. If you're looking to upgrade your gear this summer season, check out EP Sports' new shop near Liverpool to use their professional fitting service, or head over to www.epsports.co.uk to buy from the biggest range of football equipment in the UK. Jumping into the scores from the weekend, and we're going to start out as always with our Burger Watch. Leeds Academy Assassins impressed with 3 50 burgers in 3 games this weekend. The Assassins dominated in their under-17s North East tournament and have got to be considered favourites to be pushing for a Britball this year. Manchester Titans notched up 2 burgers across their 3 teams in action this weekend. The Titans running rampant in the second half to take a 56-12 win over the Vikings in the Adult League, while the under-17 South side boasted a 53-0 shutout win over the Chester Romans. Rightly proud of a great weekend of balling from their programme, the Titans' Twitter feed included a couple of highlights this weekend. Back in the Adult League in reverse of how their under-17s perform, the Chester Romans adult team notched up their 2nd burger of the year, once again over the Crewe Railroaders, and in the Premiership the Bury Saints got their first top-tier win and 50 burger of the year in a victory over the Farnham Knights. Only the one under-19 fixture this weekend, as the other one got pushed back, but it was definitely an important one, as the East Kilbride Pirates rallied in the second half to overcome a 13-0 deficit to take away a win against the Highland Wildcats. 2 of the top young teams in the country, this win is really important for the Pirates to make sure that they can top out that Northern Conference in the under-17 game and push for a repeat of their Britball appearance, or possibly even improve on it with a win. In the under-17 game, as we mentioned, the Assassins steamrolled their way through the North East tourney, while the Manchester Titans southern side took 3 wins away in the north, though they defeated the hosts, the Chorley Buccaneers, by only a single point, meaning the Northern Conference looked to be a hotly contested one this year, the Buccaneers, Tornadoes and Southern Titans standing out from the crowd early. Finally, the London Conference hosts, the London Blitz, kicked off what was a highly successful weekend of balling from the programme with 3 wins out of 3, including turning over the Hearts Cheetahs, who'd beaten them earlier in the year, and a narrow win against the London Warriors in a 38-34 shootout. This looks to be another hard-fought conference this season. Moving to the adult game, and obviously the game everyone wants to talk about is the Britball preview. No, not Blitzball preview, sorry Warrior Nation, especially Vernon, it was just a typo. Yes, it was a great game to kick off one of the biggest rivalries in Britball, as the two teams were deadlocked for the entire first half before Dwayne Watson broke the stalemate in the third quarter. Not long after, the Blitz scored back and crucially converted to 2 points to give them an albeit very brief lead. The ensuing kickoff was returned the length of the field, and it seemed like it just wasn't meant to be for the Blitz, though crucially the Warriors didn't get the point after, clock winding down and the Blitz finding paid out once again to give the home side the lead with less than 2 minutes on the clock. The Warriors made quick progress down the field and with less than 20 seconds remaining, set up to try and steal back a victory with a field goal. But no good. The win represents a massive turnaround for a Blitz side that looked well off the pace of the Warriors at the end of last season, and a great sign for the British game that the top tier is still going to be hotly contested this summer. Before we read too much into it, however, it's worth noting that there is a lot of balling yet to go this year, with these two teams scheduled to meet 3 times during the regular season. As such, we're going to see them clash at least twice more, if not again in the Britball final itself, so don't expect the Warriors dynasty to come crashing down anytime soon. In the northern half of the top tier, the Phoenix took a much more modest than expected win away from the Edinburgh Wolves, though word is the Midland side made the trip north of the wall somewhat light, especially when it came to bodies in the trenches, only 5 offensive linemen making the journey. Merseyside remain undefeated after shooting out to a big lead early against the Lancashire Wolverines, but having allowed the Wolverines back into the game in the second half, the Nighthawks are going to have to show a lot more resilience if they want to repeat their playoff performance from last season. Standout scorelines from Division 1 include obviously the Manchester Titans' big win over the Newcastle Vikings, but we also have to look at the Yorkshire Rams, whose season is steadily improving, while in the southern half of the tier, the London Hornets evened out their season at 2-2 with a narrow 12-6 victory over the London Olympians. Down in Division 2, and the Glasgow Tigers made the NFC 2 North look particularly confusing as they took a win over the previously undefeated Clyde Valley Blackhawks. This currently puts 3 of the 4 teams in that conference at a 2-1 record, meaning that even though the teams will play each other each 3 times this season, it's still going to be confusing as to who's going to end up on top in that conference. Otherwise, the bottom tier was rife with a number of fairly one-sided matchups. The Apache, both Storms of the Morecambe and Swindon variety, the Sharks, the Renegades, the Romans, the Bobcats and the Mavericks all coming away with fairly comfortable victories. In fact, surprisingly, one of the only close-fought games in the conference was the undefeated Shropshire Revolution paying a visit to the Houghton Spartans. The Revs trailed for the majority of the game, falling behind 7-3 throughout the first half before coming on strong in the second half and earning themselves a 4-0 record so far this season. And there you have it, Nation, your scoop of the best bits from the past week of Britball. Remember that if you like what DC do, that you can help out by liking this video over on YouTube, sharing it on Facebook, retweeting it on Twitter, and if you really want us to keep doing what we're doing, we need your support to upgrade doublecoverage.com so that we can make it the real hub of the British American football community that we want it to be. To make that a reality, you can head over to gofundme.com/dblcoverage, check out our plans for the future of the game and donate wherever you think we're worth. If you want us to be able to continue bringing you 7 days a week of scores, news, editorials, information, videos, opinions, and so much more, we're going to need your help. Otherwise, as always, play hard, play safe, and if you haven't done so already, check out the highlights from week 5 across the National League, and make sure you nag your team media peeps this week to send across highlights from the big plays of the past weekend.